Hi everybody, Claire Daly, Stampin' Up demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia. So excited to talk to you today about the Butterfly Brilliance bundle, which is a new release in March for customers. And this is an early release from the new annual catalogue, which is coming up at the start of May. So that's super exciting. So I want to show you all about it, to show you some additional products that we've got for a short time with it, and then I can show you some of the cards that I've made. Let's have a look at some of the products individually. The Butterfly Brilliance stamp set and the Brilliant Wings dies make up the bundle. So in the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set, you've actually got one stamp, one big stamp. So this stamp actually stamps all of your butterflies. And I actually like that it's one stamp, because not only can you stamp your individual butterflies, but you can actually use it as a background stamp, and I'll show you how I've done that on one of the cards in a little bit later. Some demonstrators have actually cut it out or bought another set to cut it out. That's an option as well. But they're all different butterflies, lots of different detail, so you've got the beautiful outline. You could use those colouring with your Stampin' Blends markers. That would actually be beautiful. So many different colour options there, so many different designs, which is really beautiful. So that's the stamp, and then in the die set here, the Brilliant Wings dies, what you get, put that to the side, lots of dies. So you get this one big die which cuts out all of the butterflies all at once, which is super cool, and it's got something else super cool about it, which I will show you in a little while. So you get that one to cut the outlines, so you could stamp those, and then you'd have your outline images to be able to do some colouring, which would be great. Also included in the same die set, you actually get, for each of these butterflies, oops, that one goes there, you actually get a detailed die which cuts out the detail and gives you a really detailed effect on each of those. So I'll show you an example of what I'm talking about. So this one here I have stamped in Magenta Madness onto Magenta Madness cardstock, cut around the outside, and then when I applied the die, it actually wasn't that die, it was a smaller one. This is the detail that you get, which is amazing. So that's done on cardstock, and I'll show you more about those cards in a moment. And this one here is done on pattern paper, so you can see the intricate effect you get there, which is just amazing. It's so pretty, and I've seen it done on vellum and that as well. It looks absolutely gorgeous on vellum too. So you get all of those detailed ones included, and you also get, you get your 6 detailed ones, and you also get some additional dies here to create texture and a bit of interest, and a couple of extra little butterflies there. So it's a really value-packed die set and a really gorgeous stamp set. So that's the Butterfly Brilliance bundle. As I said, it will be in the annual catalogue, but it's an early release. So it's available now, but it'll be right through the annual catalogue as well. But what won't be in the annual catalogue is limited release short term, some papers which coordinate perfectly with the Butterfly Brilliance. So there's two. There's this natural specialty paper where you get 2 sheets of this paper, which has got this beautiful oak finish on one side, and then oak wood grain, and then on the other it's a beautiful saffron pattern. And then so you get 2 sheets of those for $8.75, and then you also get designer series paper, which is a pack of 48 sheets of paper. So there's 6 double-sided designs, and you get 8 of each one. So I'll show you those papers. So we've got this big butterfly here, and I'll show you the cool thing about that one is that the dies fit perfectly. So that's really awesome. So lots of the cards that I've made just use these die cut butterflies. So you get 8 of those sheets in there. So you can, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 8, 48 butterflies you can have just from that pack of paper. So that's the reverse of that one, really pretty. And then there's smaller butterflies, which is super pretty. And then this is my favorite, I think. I just really love this sort of ombre different patterns there with the small butterflies, and some lovely patterns on the back. This one. So there's a huge range of colours that coordinate with this pattern paper set as well, and I'll talk to you about those in a tick and show you the cards that I've made. But it's really gorgeous. I just found once I sat down and started creating with this, I just could not stop. It's just so beautiful. Here's an example of some of those butterflies that I've cut out too of that big paper. These are before I've obviously done the other bits on them, but they were so easy to use. So that's the papers. Now the papers are only available until the 3rd of May. They're not in the new catalogue. So if you want to get the papers, you definitely need to buy those before the 3rd of May. I thought I'd also show you some of the embellishments which I found coordinated really well with this paper. These are existing embellishments that we've got in the annual catalogue, and you may already have in your Stampin' Stash, but they just tended to coordinate really well, so I wanted to point those out. So the first one is the Flowers for Every Season trim combo, where you've got the baker's twine, metallic baker's twine, and the Just Jade, the light colour Just Jade gingham ribbon. That coordinates really beautifully. So all of these again will be linked below in the post. That's a great one to use. And then the Snail Mail Twine trim combo is another great one I found myself reaching for as well. Those colours are looking great there. So that one's in the January to June mini catalogue, that in the Snail Mail suite. The Elegant Faceted Gems, right back from the Peony suite in the annual catalogue, especially the clear ones and the white ones. I found they were really great to use with this. The clear adhesive rhinestones, they were great. I've used that on lots of the cards. And these beautiful Artistry Blooms adhesive sequins. I just love these. This is one of my favourite embellishments this year. Yeah, I'm on my 3rd or more or something packet of these. They're just great. The colours are perfect for what we've got here in these papers, and they're so easy to use. You can just pop them on. They're adhesive, a couple of different sizes, so I find myself using those a lot, and especially on the cards I created with this. And something else that I found as I was going along, I haven't actually got a card to show you with this one today, but the Dandy Garden Memories and More pre-printed cards, they actually are a really good coordination as well. So you could use those. I'll just give you a couple of examples there, showing you a couple of the butterflies on, but you can see how those work really nicely together as well. The colours coordinate, so that's an option to use too. So lots of options with your existing embellishments, which will make this a super easy suite to play with. Now I'd like to show you some cards that I've made using that suite. So I think I've got 11 cards that I whipped up over the weekend. So my first one, I wanted to use just one of the pieces of paper. So I used this one here, and I wanted to cut strips. So I cut it into 5 strips, and I wanted to use those on 5 different cards, just so that we could have something quick and easy, and make good use of the products. So I've got 5 strips. We'll talk about those ones in a tick. So on these first 2, I've just used the die cut butterfly straight out of the pattern paper. Popped my strip of paper there. I had to cut it down a little bit. I'll put the measurements actually of the strips of paper in the comments below the video. And I've just used 2 different embossing folders. So this one here, I've used the Ornate Floral embossing folder with that beautiful tiny flower, which I love. And this one here, I've used the Scripty embossing folder. So super simple card, couple of rhinestones, strip of paper, die cut butterfly, and just a greeting. And I've used the lovely labels Pick a Punch to create the ends on my sentiment labels. So there's that one, and then I did something similar using an embossing folder. This is the Subtles embossing folder. I got a little bit more nifty here. I rounded the corners on opposite sides of my piece of paper. And the other thing that I did instead of using the die cut butterflies, I actually stamped the butterfly in Magenta Madness onto Magenta Madness cardstock. I used the big die, so this one here, to cut around the outside, and then I used the corresponding small die, which is, let's see if I can get it, nailed it, this one here, and run it through again, and then you get this beautiful detail butterfly, and it's actually got the stamping on there as well. Let's see if I can show you that. So hopefully you get a bit of a picture of that there. And then on these last two, I kept the rounded corners again, kept the detailed butterfly, but I actually used the stamp as a background stamp. So I've got two different looks. On this one here, I used Versamark. So I wanted a really subtle effect, so I've used Versamark as my background. And then on this one here, I've used Bermuda Bay, but I've actually stamped it off once, a little bit unevenly, but I quite like the effect that it gave there. And I've used it as a background stamp. So keeping the stamp as one actually worked really well for that. What's this one? I've used, I just cut some detail out from a couple of the pattern paper butterflies. So I went that one step further and just layered some Pool Party, some Just Jade, and this is actually an embossing folder, Meadow Moments embossing folder. So I've applied the ink to the embossing folder to get that effect. So I'll be blogging this card and providing a lot more detail about that over the coming weeks. And then these are the other cards that I've made. So this one's, I think I love this piece of paper. This is my favorite. This one's just some layering, and I've got some of that twine from the Flowers for Every Season ribbon combo underneath, and I've used some of the natural specialty paper to cut that label out there. So that's that one. For this one here, it's just a base of the piece of paper, and I've used one of the die cut butterflies, some of the artistry blooms, and I've popped a bit of natural twine around some of that Just Jade ribbon as well. And I've adhered that all the way through. So what I do when I adhere the ribbon is make sure that I have enough that goes right through, because it looks much neater on the inside. And yeah, I will put an inside in there at some stage. I'm renowned for not doing that until I send my cards. So I like how that one turned out. It's such a beautiful color. I found that the lighter colors background, so I've got some in white, mint macaron, so saffron. The cards that I like the most tend to have the lighter backgrounds, so it works really well with this paper. There's a congratulations card. Got a lot of those going out from my team members lately. So I've used one of the strips of paper and I've paired it with one of the plain coloured papers out of the annual catalogue in those colour packs, and a couple of the die cut butterflies, some of the twine, and again some of those artistry blooms just to balance the card a little bit. And another layer here, again some more artistry blooms, die cut butterfly, and just a bit of white embossing. And that's the one with this So Saffron card base. I really like how that turned out. I think that's really pretty. And for my final, excuse me, for my final example, I've got white on white, and what I've done here is I've actually used the blending brushes to create a little bit of interest with the Pool Party ink. So very light blended area behind there, and then I've just popped on one of the butterflies with some of the clear embellishments from the Elegant Faceted Gems, and a couple more there, and my black and white greeting. So again, super simple, but I think, you know, the butterflies are such a wow factor that it's easy to make the cards simple, easy to create in a simple way, but the cards to turn out really lovely. So I hope you will consider having a look at this beautiful product range which has just been released. You will find all of the details, the links below, to both my blog post outlining it and also the products in my online store. And keep an eye on my blog over the coming weeks, because I'll be blogging lots of these cards, giving lots more details and playing lots more with the products as well. So thanks for watching today, and I look forward to being back here soon with another video and some more inspiration.